Welcome to 7th class English. Good morning children. How are you all? This is R. Sujna, your English teacher. Last week we discussed about very interesting lesson called the town mouse and the country mouse. All of you see this picture? Did you recollect the lesson? Okay, this lesson is very interesting, na? Okay, today we will do some activity part related to this lesson. Okay, all of you pick up your textbook and get ready with your pencil. Go to page number 7 in your textbook. Today we will do some activities related to this lesson. Choose the best answer from the choices given to complete each sentence. The students who understood the lesson properly, they can write the answers very easily. This is very simple exercise. Okay, the first question. Here they give you 3 options for each question, so you have to select the best answer from the given options and you have to write it in the bracket. Okay, the first one, the town mouse and the country mouse are A. friends, B. cousins, C. classmates. Okay, now tell me, the town mouse and country mouse, are they friends? Are they classmates? No, they are cousins. So the answer is cousins, B. Let's move on to the second one. The house of the town mouse was. Okay, so you have to tell me the address or the place where the town mouse resides. Option A field in the village. Second, a building in a village. Third, a kitchen cupboard in a town. Now tell me, what is the answer? Yes, the answer is a kitchen cupboard in a town. Answer is C. So write C in the bracket. Next question. The house of the town mouse was A. full of most delicious food, full of sugar canes and roots, full of coconut water. Now tell me, the house of the town mouse was full of most delicious food. So the answer is A. Fourth question. At the end of the story, the country mouse, option A, went back to his country, B, stayed in the town, C, visited the town mouse. So at the end of the story, what happened? The country mouse did not like the lifestyle of town, so it wanted to go back to his village. So the answer is went back to his country. So the answer is A. I hope you understood all these questions. Okay, let's move on to the next activity. Okay, here they have given some statements. You have to say whether it is true or false. So say whether the following statements are true or false. Correct the wrong statements. Okay, so for true you have to write T. For false you have to write F in the brackets. Okay, see the first sentence. The country mouse lives in a town. The answer is available in the question itself. What is the meaning of country? Country means village. Country mouse means village mouse. So it lives in the village. The country mouse lives in a town. So the sentence is wrong. So you have to write false, F. Second question. The town mouse feels very comfortable in the train. Is it true? No. That town mouse felt very suffocated in the train. So the answer is false, F. Next one. Third sentence. It was hot when the town mouse traveled to the countryside. Yes, that day was very hot. It was a very hot day, so the town mouse felt very uncomfortable traveling in the train. So the answer is true. You have to put T in the bracket. Fourth statement. The town mouse liked to eat cooked food. Answer is true. Yes, the town mouse loved to eat cooked food, but the country mouse offered the raw food, so it did not like the raw food. Answer is the town mouse liked to eat cooked food. So is it true or false? True. You have to put T in the bracket. Next, fifth one. There are more lights, cars and lorries in the town than in the village. Obviously, this is the right answer. You find more lights, cars and lorries in the town than in the village. So the answer is true. So you have to put T. So whenever you are going to write the true or false, that time you have to read the statement properly. Then only you can write the correct answer. Okay, let's move on to the vocabulary activity. Okay, the following sentences are from your lesson. Read them carefully and take the correct meaning of the underlined word in each sentence. Here they have given you some sentences, and in that sentence they have underlined a particular word. If you know the meaning of that particular word, then you have to tick it in the given options. They give you 3 options. You have to select the correct meaning of that underlined word. So see the first statement. He has asked me to spend a week in the countryside. They have underlined the word countryside. What is the meaning of country? Country is village or an area outside towns or cities with fields and farms. Okay, na? So option A land with towns and cities. Second, a neighboring country. Third, a land outside towns and cities with fields, woods, etc. So the option is C. So answer is C. Next one. Next sentence. The town mouse packed his bags. Option A. Put something in a container so that it can be stored. B. Put clothes etc. into a bag in a preparation for a trip away from home. C. Put expensive things in a bag so as to keep them safe. Okay. Here, what is the sentence they have given? The town mouse packed his bags. Okay, let me ask you one question. When do you pack your bag? Means that when you are going for a travel or trip, that time you need to pack your bag. You have to stuff the bag with your clothes and the things that are required during the travel. So the answer is B. Put clothes into a bag in preparation for a trip away from home. Let's move on to the next sentence. Okay. The day was bright and sunny. What is the underlined word? Sunny. Now you have to tell me the meaning of that word sunny. A. With a lot of bright light from the sun. And second, B. With a cool wind from the east. C. Without rain. The answer is A. With a lot of bright light from the sun. Means when you say it's a sunny day, means you get lot of bright light from the sun. Okay. Next, fourth one. He nibbled at the root and the sugar cane. A. Took a large quantity of food. B. Took a small quantity of food, showing a slight interest. C. Took food with a great interest. Suppose if I offer you some food item, then If you don't like the food, what do? So you just nibble that food item and you just keep it on in the plate itself. Means you did not like the food. So here the meaning of nibbled is, the answer is took a small quantity of food, showing a slight interest. Okay. Let's move on to the fifth sentence. The country mouse arrived in town. Option A, left for a place, got to a place, left a place. Here you have to tell me the meaning of arrived. Arrived means you have come to a place. So it means that you arrived that place. So the answer is got to a place. Okay. Let's move on to the fill in the blanks activity. Okay ma, here what they have given. Fill in the blanks using appropriate phrases given below. Here they have given some phrases in the hint box. Looked around, plenty of, full of, piece of, got of. Actually you have to use the appropriate phrase in the given blanks. Okay, so all of you go through the passage here. Rambabu started his journey to his grandfather's village in Prakasam district. He caught a train to reach the village. The train arrived at the station. At that time, he was hungry and thirsty. As soon as he dashed the train, he wanted to drink and eat something. Okay, here they are talking about one person called Rambabu. He is going to his grandfather's village in Prakasam district. So he caught a train to reach the village. So he was feeling very thirsty and hungry. So he wanted to drink something and eat something. But before he can eat anything, he has to get down from the train. So the answer is as soon as he got off the train, he wanted to drink and eat something. Okay, next. So he dashed but found nothing to eat or drink. So he was in search of some cool drinks and food. So what he will do? We will look around. Okay. So here the answer is looked around. He started walking towards his grandfather's house. On the way, he found a shop which was dash cool drinks. So he saw a shop. It was full of cool drinks. So you have to write full of. Next, he had dash money. Without money, he can't buy anything. Here Rambabu is having plenty of money. So the correct phrase in this blank is plenty of. So he bought a cool drink and a dash bread. Piece of bread. So have you got it? So you have to use the appropriate phrases in the blanks. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay ma, this is very important concept. You have to listen carefully. Okay, read the following sentence from your lesson and identify the underlined expression. Okay, I am going to read the sentence. See. He nibbled at the root and the sugar cane. The expression sugar cane is a compound noun. It is a noun now. It is a combination of two nouns. Here what is the underlined word? Sugar cane. You can see two words in this word sugar cane. One is sugar and cane. Actually sugar is a noun and cane is also a noun. But the word sugar cane is a combination of two nouns called sugar and cane. So sugar cane is called a compound word. Compound noun. Compound noun means it is a combination of two nouns. You can see the statement sugar plus cane is equal to sugar cane. Now read your lesson and pick out at least two compound nouns. Let's form some compound nouns now. Join each word in a column A. with a suitable word in column B to form compound nouns. The first one is done for you. Okay, this is very simple. You can easily do it. Okay, so here they have given two columns, column A and column B. So column A is consisting of collection of nouns and column B is also consists of collection of nouns. So using the words you have to frame a new word called compound word. Okay, so first example they have given birth day. So what is a compound word? Birthday. Okay, let's see the next word, door. All of you first do the matching and then write the compound words. So doorbell. Next one, fire, firewood, hand, kerchief, handkerchief. Next one, moon, moonlight, motor, motorcycle, sun, sunshine, gate, gateway. So these are the compound words. So once again, a compound word is a combination of two nouns. I'm going to tell you a very important concept called degrees of comparison. Okay, so when we do the comparison? Normally we compare ourselves with others, like, ma'am, I got 80 marks in English, but Ramu got 85. I got 95 in maths, but Ramu got 70 marks in maths. That means that you are comparing yourself with Ramu. Okay, so let's see the important topic, degrees of comparison. What exactly is this? Degrees of comparison are used when we compare one person or one thing with another. Okay, so in English we have got three kinds of degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, second one comparative degree, third one superlative degree. One more time, there are three types of degrees of comparison in English: positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. Remember the terminology. Okay, let us see all of them one by one. First one, positive degree. When we speak about only one person or thing, we use the positive degree. You are just talking about only one person or one thing. In that case, we have to use positive degree. Like example C, this house is big. Here we are talking about only one house. So we are saying this house is big. He is a tall student. The flower is beautiful. He is an intelligent boy. Each sentence mentioned above talks about only one noun. Here we are just talking about only one person or one thing, one noun. In that case, we have to use positive degree. We are not comparing here. Remember, in positive degree, we don't compare. The second one in the degrees of comparison is comparative degree. Comparative degree, in this case, we will compare with others. Okay, see this sentence. When we compare two persons or two things with each other, we use both the positive degree and comparative degree. Okay, next, see the example. This house is bigger than that one, comparative degree. Here we are comparing two houses. Next, this house is not as big as that one, positive degree. It means that this big house is not big as that one. The term bigger is a comparative version of the term big. Both the sentences convey the same meaning. So what is the comparative version of the term big? Bigger. Okay, we will talk about the third one, superlative degree. When we compare more than two persons or things with one another, we use all the three: positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. Okay. This is the biggest house in the street, means out of all the houses this is the biggest house, so this is superlative. Here there are so many houses in a street na, so when there are more than two houses or two persons or two things, we make use of superlative. Okay, all of you see this example. Calcutta is one of the largest cities in India. Calcutta is larger than most other cities in India. Very few cities in India are as large as Calcutta. Okay. Now we will see one sentence. It's always quiet in the country. Sometimes it is quieter than today. My grandfather says that our village is the quietest among all the villages in our district. Okay, here they have underlined three words: quiet, quieter, and quietest. Okay, the underlined words are adjectives, but they are in different degrees of comparisons. Just now we talked about positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Okay, so now we will learn the forms of these degrees of comparisons. Positive degree, quiet; comparative degree, quieter; superlative degree, quietest. These are all adjectives. Okay. Usually, short words take er and est as suffixes to form other degrees. Suffix is nothing but the thing that we add to the end of the word. Prefix means if you add it before the word, that is called prefix. If you add that thing to the end of the word, that is called a suffix. Here in comparative degree and superlative degree, we make use of suffixes. In comparative degree, we normally add er, and in superlative degree we add est suffix. Okay, so let's see the degrees of comparison forms for various adjectives. You should remember them. Okay, dark, darker, darkest; dark, darker, darkest; small, smaller, smallest; small, smaller, smallest; rich, richer, richest; rich, richer, richest; safe, safer, safest; safe, safer, safest; clever, cleverest, cleverer; clever, cleverer, cleverest; tall, taller, tallest; tall, taller, tallest; bright, brighter, brightest; bright, brighter, brightest. Okay children, I hope you understand these degrees of comparison. Normally comparative degrees, we add er suffix, and for superlative degree we add est suffix. All of you go to page number 10. Here we see another form of degrees of comparison. Okay, they have given a small note. Words with two or more than two syllables take more and most respectively in comparative degree and superlative degree. Okay, all of you see the word useful. So comparative degree is more useful, superlative degree is most useful. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful; interested, more interested, most interested; doubtful, more doubtful, most doubtful; precious, more precious, most precious; delicious, more delicious, most delicious; dreadful, more dreadful, most dreadful; cheerful, more cheerful, most cheerful. Okay, next note, unlike the above, some words change completely in another degrees. Okay, so here they have given another adjective, much. What is the comparative form of much? More. What superlative degree is? Most. For good, better, best. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. Bad, worse, worst. Far, farther, farthest. Far, farther, farthest. So my dear children, you have to learn all these degrees of comparison. You get these kind of questions in your question paper, so be thorough with the forms of degrees of comparison. Okay, that's all for today. Take care. Bye.